Hey everyone, and welcome to part 5. This is the macronutrients series of videos. So in this video we're going to take a look a little bit further down the line. So assuming we have some calorie targets, we're going to then start to look at how we break those down into macronutrient targets, and then further into a meal plan which actually works for you to hit your targets. So let's start with a quick recap. So your macronutrients are equal to your calories. This means the sum of your macronutrients actually make up your calories. So we can break down your calorie target into your macronutrient targets also. Quick recap on the calories per gram. So protein, 4 calories per gram. Carbs, exactly the same, 4 calories per gram. Fat, 9 calories per gram. Alcohol, 7 calories per gram. However, if we're concerned with improving your health, and also working out how we actually convert these numbers that we're going to look at today into a meal plan, we're only going to be concerned with the top 3, protein, carbs and fats. These are obviously what we're going to use to improve your health. So alcohol, not really going to improve your health with that, so we're not going to be concerned with calculating anything to do with alcohol today. Now, for the purpose of the calculations that follow later in the next slides, we're going to assume that we've already got a calorie target calculated, okay? So let's refer to the nutritional pyramid first of all. The pyramid summarizes where your efforts need to be applied within your nutrition strategy. So you'll hear me talk a lot about energy balance, which is very, very important. Obviously, this is the fundamental layer. We have to get this right before we start considering the other options or getting too wrapped up in how important the other levels of the pyramid are. So it's really important that we understand this, but that's not to say you shouldn't be giving consideration to anything above that bottom layer. So if we think about it like this, the bottom layer, your energy balance, this determines your weight, okay? This is your calories in versus your calories out. Over time, this dictates whether we lose weight, gain weight, or stay the same, okay? If we go to the next level, macronutrients, this determines how you look at that weight, okay? Because this is the breakdown of the calories that we consume. So if we eat 0 protein in your diet, and we do that all the time, there's a good chance we're not going to have any muscle, we're not going to be able to build any muscle, we're not going to be able to maintain any muscle. So we're not going to actually change the shape of your body and how you look. So we go up to micronutrients then, and we can start to think about, okay, this is going to really affect how you feel. So we've got how you weigh, so what your weight is, how you look at that weight, and then also how you feel at that weight is going to be determined by the quality of your nutrition. So how many nutrients are we getting into the diet daily, and how consistent are we being with quality food choices? Okay, so this is micronutrients and how this impacts how you feel. Now, we've got a order of calculation. If we're looking at calculating macronutrients, the usual way we'll go about this is we calculate protein first, then we calculate dietary fat, and then we calculate carbohydrate. So protein, we know protein is essential for life. We also know that fat as a macronutrient is essential. We need fats in the diet. Now, we can exist without carbohydrates in the diet. However, it's not usually a suitable strategy for most, but the reason we calculate your macronutrients in this order of preference is because actually carbohydrates we can consider them a little bit more of a luxury. They are non-essential in the diet. This is why the keto diet, for example, exists. But even the keto diet, it's very, very low carbohydrate. So usually there's still carbohydrates in there. If we're consuming anything like fruits and veggies, these are often made up mostly of carbohydrates. So, excuse me, we have this order of preference, and the exception to the rule is going to be for those who may be competing in an event, or if you are a performance athlete, and therefore your goals primarily with your nutrition are going to be around maximizing your performance, okay? So in that scenario, we may calculate protein, and then we may prioritize carbohydrates because we need to fuel the intense exercise and training sessions with carbohydrates being the main fuel we're going to utilize in high intensity training. And then fat, we still need a certain amount of fat, but we might not prioritize fat, and we might flip that around and do carbohydrates as a preference over fat. Okay, so we still want to have a balanced approach, but we might just need to prioritize carbohydrates for those who are more serious athletes, or for example, if you were running a half marathon or a marathon on a certain day, competing in a powerlifting event, for example, we might need to ramp up carbohydrates to support your performance in a certain event or on any given day. So let's go into some calculations. Assuming that your body weight is 80 kilograms, just as an example, and we're also assuming that your calorie target that we're going to work towards is 2,000 calories. So again, running through that order of calculation, we're going to calculate protein first in step 1. So I would imagine if you're watching this, you are somebody who is strength training, or you're at least starting to strength train. So that means we have a requirement which is a little bit higher than somebody who doesn't strength train in terms of your protein intake. Now the bracket we would ideally want to fit into is somewhere between 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight. Now, there's a couple of scenarios where we might not calculate it this high. It may be that we calculate your protein target on your target body weight, for example. If you have a lot of weight to lose, for females, sometimes this can be more appropriate and more practical. Otherwise, your protein target can be way too high. So if we were going to fall within that range, let's say, for example, we're going to aim for 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. If you weigh 80 kilograms, that gives you 160 grams of protein per day. Now, when we look at 160 grams of protein, as you can see below, 160 grams times 4 calories per gram, which is the what protein equates to in terms of energy. This gives you 640 calories within your calorie target for protein. Step 2, onto dietary fats. Now, dietary fats, again, this comes down to dietary preference and perhaps how active you are as an individual. But the main rule for health is usually that we're going to aim for no less than 15% of your total calories coming from fats. Okay, just as a reminder, dietary fats are an essential nutrient. This is why we have essential fatty acids, and we have different types of fats that benefit us in different ways. So we can't cut out fats completely because you'll die. So we need a certain amount of fats, and the minimal amount we're looking for is 15% of your total calories making up fats. Okay, and depending on whether you're somebody who prefers a lower fat diet to allow for more carbs, or for example, if you were somebody who prefers a ketogenic diet, then this is going to be very high fat, very low carbs. So the range can be quite large here. So 0.5 to 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. Now let's say, for example, we're aiming at the lower end of that. 80 times 0.5 gives us 40 grams of fat per day as your target. And then underneath you can see the calories that equates to 40 grams times 9 calories per gram, because fat is higher in the energy density, so it contains more energy per gram. That gives you 360 calories for fat. Now, with the carbohydrates coming last, what we then do is we work out how many calories we are consuming through protein, how many calories we're consuming through fat. We add those together. That gives us a number here, 1,000 calories. So 640 plus 360, that gives us 1,000 calories. So we then know that your calorie target for the day as a whole is 2,000 calories. So if we take that 1,000 calories, the sum of protein and fat calories, away from your daily calorie target, this leaves us with a remaining 1,000 calories, which can be assigned to carbohydrates. Okay, and this completes the calculation of the macronutrients. So 1,000 calories. We then divide that 1,000 by 4 calories per gram, which is again the calories per gram for carbohydrates, and that translates to 250 grams of carbs. Okay, so in summary, remaining calories are for carbohydrates. So we have your total daily calories. We then subtract the sum of your protein and fat calories, and that leaves us an amount that we can assign to carbohydrates. We then divide that by 4 because carbs are 4 calories per gram. Okay, and that gives us the 250 grams that we've ended up with there. And if we flip all this on its head, as I mentioned previously, the sum of your macronutrients gives you your calorie target. And as we've just done, we can break down your calorie target into your macronutrients based on these ranges that we're looking at, that we're looking to try and fall into to get enough protein, enough fats, and then have some remaining for carbs. So we're going to turn this into a more practical diet now that would actually help you to reach your targets. So we've already assumed that we have 2,000 calories as the target. On the left hand side, we've then worked out what would be a suitable amount of macronutrients to distribute those calories to, so that we know we're getting enough of the things we need, and we also have enough energy to complete training sessions. So what we can then do, we want to keep flexibility in mind. So you don't have to do it this way, but this just gives you an example of how we can basically hit your targets whilst also still being flexible. So if we were to subtract 10 to 20% from the 2,000 calorie daily target, this gives us an amount that we can set aside for snacks, treat food choices, or we could even stack those calories up and bank those calories for a weekend if we know we're having an event which might contain more calories. Then we can do that to reserve some of those calories. But 10 to 20% is usually falls within this kind of 80-20 rule, where we want to have 80% from highly nutritious, nutrient-dense foods, and it saves you 10 to 20% for foods that are purely for enjoyment and satisfaction. So if we take away that 20%, that would be 400 calories. Okay, so 2,000 minus the 400, this leaves us 1,600 calories remaining to build up 3 main meals. So if we have 2 snacks, 200 calories each, that's your 400 calories, and then we have 3 meals. If we divide 1,600 by 3, this gives us 533 calorie meals. Okay, and then we've got a breakdown in the meal 1, meal 2, meal 3 boxes. So 533 calories. The main thing we're going to do here, excuse me, the main thing we're going to do here is to distribute your protein target of 160 across those 3 main meals. Okay, that may mean that you end up getting more protein than you need, but this is a good safe bet to make sure that we hit that protein target each day. We want to try and distribute that protein evenly through your meals and make sure then that we're eating high protein meals. So 533 calories, 53 grams of protein in each meal, and for simplicity's sake, we've just basically divided this perfectly evenly across those meals. It doesn't have to be that way, but this just shows you how we're going to hit your calorie and your protein target over the day. So 53 grams of protein, and you'll notice the dietary fat and the carbohydrate has been left as preference. So this is because there doesn't need to be too much of a concern around the exact ratio of carbs and fats. We don't have to hit these numbers exactly every day in order for us to get results, particularly where fat loss is concerned. The main thing we're concerned with is the total calories, hitting your protein, being consistent with those things, and then manipulating the rest around your preference, and that gives you a bit more flexibility and freedom. Now, of course, it's a good idea to work towards the targets that we've assigned, because we're making sure then we get enough fat, we also get enough carbs to support your training. However, this is largely down to your preference and can be manipulated daily. So long as we're within your calories and we're hitting your protein, then we don't really need to be overly concerned with this as I said, in particular for fat loss. So no specific preference there has been assigned per meal. We just want to hit the calories and protein. Now, next here, I've used the Level Up Coaching app to build 3 meals and 2 snacks to fit within these targets. Okay, so meal 1, very simple. I've kept this really simple just so that you can see exactly how we can go about this, how we use the app to build your meals up like this. So meal 1, we've got 70 grams of oats, we've got some whey protein in there, we've got some unsweetened almond milk, and we've got some frozen blueberries. Okay, so 546 calories for that meal. You can see in the top left corner of that box. And you can see in the next box along, the green underline, we've got there 53.5 grams of protein. So perfectly working towards that 53 gram target we just showed you on the previous slide. So that's going to keep you full. It's calorie controlled, and on to the next meal. So meal 2, we've got 200 grams of chicken breast. Now, if you've watched the previous videos, this is your food weight. So this is not 200 grams of chicken breast is not 200 grams of protein. As you can see with the green underline there, the protein contained in those 200 grams of chicken breast is 44 grams. Okay, so that's this one here, and the total for this meal 50.9. So again, really close to that 53 gram target for the protein within that meal. So there we've got chicken breast, we've got some Nando's sauce, we've got some mixed salad, and we've got a large white wrap. Okay, so super simple. We've also assigned a little bit of olive oil there for cooking the chicken. You don't have to use olive oil if you don't want to cook it in olive oil. We can also do things like air fryer, grill it. So this is just an example to show you we can have chicken breast, salad wrap with some sauce, so plenty of flavour. It's calorie controlled again, and we hit the protein. And again, we're just not really overly concerned about exact carbs and fats. We're just taking a balanced approach so that we do actually include all of the macronutrients in that meal, and we stay within the targets. So on to meal 3, we've got some 5% minced beef. Okay, we've got an Aldi brioche burger bun, we've got some butter, and we've got some couscous. So I've just found a supermarket from the UK, Asda, coriander and lemon couscous, and we've got a total for that meal of 549 calories up here. We've got 52.5 grams of protein. So again, almost spot on to the gram with that meal in terms of calories and protein. So this would obviously be a burger in a bun with some couscous on the side, or it could be salad, whatever you wanted. But again, we've taken a balanced approach there. We've got protein, we've got some fats to cook in, we've got carbs in the burger bun and the coriander, and that may also have some veggies in there. But as you can see, we've got a balanced meal. We're within the calories again, and we've hit the protein. So over the course of those 3 meals, we've pretty much already nailed the protein target. However, we've been smart with the choices, so that actually still leaves us almost 400 calories for snacks and those enjoyment calories we spoke about if you want to just have purely snacks for taste. For example, we've got snack 1. With this one, I've shown you just an option where we could even build more protein into the diet, which would not be not harm your diet at all, as long as we're adhering to the amount of calories we're looking to hit. So the rules for the snacks was going to be 200 calories each. So we've got a small YoPro strawberry yogurt, and we've got an apple. So again, 173 calories. We've got 15 grams of protein in there. That is going to keep you full for a couple of hours, and that's just going to do the job and tide you over until your main meal. Snack 2, I've added in just purely for enjoyment, a Mars bar, so 212 calories. As you can see, pretty much no protein in that, but we've already hit the protein anyway. This is mainly calories coming from carbs and fats. So to the right here in this right hand box, the biggest one, we've got the totals for the day. So at the top we can see calories. We've got 1998. Our target was 2000. Protein, we've hit 173.9 grams. Again, our target was 160. So we've met the protein target. A little bit over, but that's okay. Carbs, we've got 203 grams of carbs, and our target was 250. So we're a little bit under there. We've gone over in protein, as you can see. And fat, we've got 54.4. Our target was 40, and we had that kind of minimal amount that we're looking for. So we know we're over the minimum amount we're looking for. But most importantly, I am within the calorie target, and I've hit the protein target. In fact, I've done one better. I've gone just over it, and I've got that protein from good quality protein sources distributed throughout the diet as a whole. So let's summarize what we've seen there. We've got protein in each meal. First and foremost, as I just said, we've got good quality options, so leaner meat. So we've got 5% beef mince, we've got chicken breast, and not things like wings, thighs. Obviously that helps us get the protein without all the extra fat calories. We've got a moderate amount of carbs and fats included in each meal to give you balanced macros. Okay, and this also contributes to you feeling full, having stable energy levels, and just balancing out the meals and making sure we get a mixed approach in terms of not just all carbs and not just all fats. Total calories are just under the daily target. So we've been able to make 3 good sized meals and include 2 snacks, one of which was a chocolate bar purely for enjoyment, and that all comes in at less than 2,000 calories. Protein is included in one of the snacks, which does take you over the target. However, the total protein for the day being higher does not impact the adherence to the daily calorie target. Okay, and this is a big thing. I often get asked, is it okay to have more protein? Yes, that's fine, but we want to make sure that extra protein or the protein choice you make doesn't tip you over your calorie target. Because if you are aiming to lose weight and we want to lose body fat, we need to be adherent to the calorie target, and that is the highest priority. If you're not perfect with the macros, we can work on that later, but calories are the big concern first and foremost. Carbs and fats aren't exactly to the macro figures as I just explained, but this doesn't matter because we have that flexibility. We have some rough targets to aim for as a guide, but day to day we can be very flexible with this, providing we keep those big rocks in check, which is the calories and the protein. Some fruits and salad veggies are included to make sure we get some micronutrients. Now obviously if you're being really smart about this, and if you are dieting on lower calories for example, then you do need to be smarter with this and choose more of those options. So single ingredient whole foods that give you lots of nutrients and also lots of volume in your diet, so large meals from single ingredient foods, but they also help you to minimize calories for the most part, as long as we're making smart choices. So again, a Mars bar, it's not a protein bar. This has been included because it fits in the day as a whole. And approximately 10% of the calories are therefore assigned to pure treat foods just for enjoyment. Okay, so we're on point with the calories. We've hit the protein. We've been able to eat 3 good sized meals, and we've had 2 snacks there, and that would be a very satisfying diet. So we've gone from having a calorie target to working out macronutrients to then distributing that further into a diet that actually works. This would be very simple food to prepare and stick to because it's tasty. We're not ruling out any particular type of food or nutrient. We're actually eating balanced meals every time we eat, and we're sticking to our goals and getting enough protein. So this would be a huge help. If your target was 2,000 calories, for example, this would be a huge help to eat in this way in order for you to achieve consistent results, feel satisfied, and also get good quality nutrition so that your recovery is good, your energy levels are good, and we can perform well in the gym. So balanced diet, hitting the targets, and those are the priorities nailed for the day. Okay, this is the end of part 5, so hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.